Good people, what's up? What's good, y'all? I am blessed to be your host, Caleb Smith. Thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of Chillin With Caleb. Man, thank y'all so much for always showing us love, liking, commenting, and subscribing. But man, we told you so. We told you so. Our brother, Shadur Sanders, went out and did his thing last night. The Cleveland Browns played against the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. And man, I saw so many 12 jerseys out there. That was amazing. And before we even get to our brother's stat line, cultural popularity is so powerful because that's something that you can't replicate. His father, Deion Sanders, the great primetime, did that here in Atlanta. You know, till this day, you still see them 21 jerseys, and that speaks impact. You're almost talking 30 to 40 years later, somebody left that much of an impact. You know, you had the MC Hammers on the sideline, too legit to quit. And Deion was the perfect storm because he was that black confident man in a black confident city. So it was the perfect marriage. And I think that's what Shadur is also going to do for Cleveland. We've seen similar acts such as a LeBron James, who was my GOAT, seeing what he has done in the great city of Cleveland. And I think now our brother Shadur is about to replicate that in Cleveland as well. And we could even argue because of seeing a preseason game and people treating this of this magnitude of the fanfare, the celebrities reposting Jamie Foxx, LeBron, Deion, everybody talking about this thing, seeing so many commenters on this and cultural commentary and all these things. This shows you how powerful this young brother is. And that is a breath of fresh air. And that shows us what he can do in his overall potential. Getting into the game, Shedeur was 14 of 23, 60% on his completion rating, 138 yards, 6-yard averages, 2 touchdowns. If you count that jet sweep, maybe call it 3, and 30 yards on his longest pass. Number 37, he caught that man one-handed. His brother, he was cool, calm, and collected. And this to me was a representation of Black America. You could have everything stacked up against us, and we're still going to figure out a way to win. And when we do win, it's going to make you that uncomfortable because it's like, man, I put all these roadblocks in the way, but he still did it. And that's the power of the ancestors, and that's the power of having a strong Black father. Deion Sanders, you could see his pedigree, you could see his teachings, his principles living through his son, Shadur. Shadur going out there so poised. He had the speaker, he had his homies with him, chilling. His brother, Bucky, he was there, man. And seeing that was hard. That was fire. Seeing the young Black kids doing a Shadur with the perfect timing. That's it. That's what it's for. We saw that with Vic growing up. Me growing up, 1997, I'm 28 right now. So I saw that prime era of Vic, and I'll never forget that. Georgia Dome being sold out, seeing a young Black quarterback. We felt like we were seeing ourselves. I even wore number 7 in middle school because of Mike Vick. So he had that impact on a whole generation of kids where we were wearing his sneakers. Kids wanted cornrows like him and AI. Shadur is now about to do that for this generation. And that's what the NFL is really scared of. You're going to have a Black quarterback as the face of the NFL. And I'm not saying Pat Mahomes, and I love Patty. I feel like he's next in line behind Tom Brady, but you're talking about a black quarterback that comes from a Black family, from a Black father, and they don't lack confidence and they don't lack money. That makes them uncomfortable. Black dollars, Black economic power has always been America's kryptonite because with the Black power, the Black dollar, that levels out that playing field. We've seen this happen time and time again, whether, of course, that's Tulsa, whether that's Auburn Avenue. We've seen that whether that's Wilmington, Rosewood, Oscarville in Georgia. We just keep going down that list. Overtown in Miami, how they built the highways over a prominent Black town. Anytime we start generating real money, and that money not also creates generational wealth, but generational knowledge of what to do with this and financial literacy, in a capitalistic society, the best remedy that they use is white supremacy to eliminate Black power and Black economic power more specifically. Because once everybody's making the same amount of money or matching what you're making and the Black families start moving into your white neighborhoods, we got to create a new roadblock because now it's getting too even. It's too fair. Fairness isn't good for them. That's why Shedeur was drafted in the 5th round. There's no way you could tell me that Tyler Shuck, who is 4 to 5 years older than Shedeur. You're talking about a 26-year-old that was playing college football, injury history, all of these things, not a winner at Louisville, is better than a Shedeur Sanders. It's so hypocritical because these same teams want to see if you can raise the level of play of your teammates. Because if you're a really good quarterback, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get drafted in the first round to a really bad organization and a really bad team. We've seen Shedeur flip 2 bad programs back to back. Jackson State have fallen off the wagon. Shedeur comes in, not the best O-line. You're talking about Celebration Bowl after Celebration Bowl, SWAC champions. Then, okay, they move the goalposts. He can't do this on the Power 5 level. Goes to Colorado in the Pac-12 at the time. Turns the program around. Then, year 2, can they do it? Can they actually win more than 4 games? Only have Colorado winning 4 games. If they would have beat Kansas, they would have made it to the Big 12 championship and potentially the college football playoff. He did that. So we keep moving the goalposts. And an even better argument, if I put a Shedeur Sanders on the Miami Hurricanes last year with their weak schedule, great team, I can argue that Shedeur, bare minimum, gets them to the ACC championship game because we've seen him play well with low talent. So you mean to tell me with an offensive line, running back, receivers that he won't be better? But Cam Ward, he went number 1. They didn't count against him that he lost to Syracuse. They lost to this team, that team, almost lost to Louisville, all these things. And they didn't even make it to the ACC championship game, nor the college football playoff. And they had the weakest strength of schedule. And they play in the ACC. They will always move the goalposts for us because they have to, because our greatness is just that great. But what we got to do is just keep being great. And that's what our brother Shedeur did. He controlled only what he could control. And that's what makes them uncomfortable. And he did it with class. His post-game interview, he's not cocky like, yeah, I did that. He said, man, I could have played even better. And that's the scary part, that this young kid is that hungry that he knows that he could be even better than what we perceive to him to already be. To be 4th on the depth chart in training camp, I really want for fans to understand how difficult that is. That means that he's getting limited reps. And the reps that he is getting, he's not getting with the starters. So in the occasion that he does become a starter, you are unfamiliar with your receivers, which is very important, your offensive line, with your cadence, how you snap the ball, your tight ends, all of these things, reading coverages against the ones on defense. So everything is completely different. So for Shedeur to go out there, his first time playing with a few starters here and there is in a preseason game, live reps, and then he has to play the first 3 quarters. Typically, a 1 quarterback that's at QB1, they might come in and play for the first half at the most, especially for a first preseason game. This kid comes out here, plays all 3 quarters, plays 3 out of the 4 quarters, plays around 45 snaps, and he gives us 14 of 23. 61% completion rating, 60.9 to 61%, 138 yards, 6 yards on average, 2 touchdowns. Rating of a 106.8, a rating of a 106.8, and you're telling me that he's not good enough? White lies, they don't match black logic, and just logic in general. I don't even want to say black logic. These are lies. And we have to understand that NFL media and sports media is the propaganda arm for their narratives of the NFL. The fact that we don't even really support players getting paid what they should and saying they should take a hometown discount for a rich billionaire owner, and the player's not even making 1/10 of what this owner is making from the franchise. And if they choose to sell the franchise, like we see with the Lakers, talking about tens of billions of dollars, no, pay me my money. So a Shedeur, we got to root for the player. And what's happening is through the media, they tell you who to root for, who to root against, who's good and who's bad, and to go against what you're seeing on that TV screen. Because I'm white and I say so. And we've seen them constantly do this to our black quarterbacks, where they try to say that they're mentally inferior and they don't know how to really comprehend the game. But what makes Shedeur so dangerous is he's not the stereotypical quarterback, black quarterback, to where, oh, he can scramble, he can do all these other things. He's ultra athletic, but underwhelming when it comes to the mental components of the game. He's the complete antithesis of that. So what do you have to say to that? That he actually approaches it from a very cerebral approach, that he's thinking, that he's breaking down coverages. We're seeing him thread the needle. We're seeing him throw it to the back corner, anticipatory throws. We're seeing Drew Brees-esque, Tom Brady-esque type of throws in playing style at a young age. And you can't tell us that this isn't special, because it is. And then what makes it even more special, when he's throwing these touchdowns, you see those young black fans and older black fans getting up doing the Shedeur. You see even the white fans rocking his jerseys. So as an owner, You want to sell tickets? That's your guy. It's going to be hard to push out Joe Flacco in week one when everybody just saw what we saw. And it's like Joe Flacco's not going to lead them to the promised land anyway. So we might as well see what the young kid has. Shedeur put a lot of pressure on the Browns front office. Andrew Berry, I want for people to really look back at this clip of him hugging Shedeur. That was a telltale sign of seeing them chop it up. As the GM of the Cleveland Browns, and just a week or two prior, Jimmy Haslam, the owner of the Browns, has stated that he did not want to draft Shedeur. So who do you think wanted and slammed that table to draft Shedeur? Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry, if we really pull up his track record, has done a phenomenal job as the GM of the Browns. And the one missing piece he's always had was the quarterback. Came in, had Baker, did well with Baker, beat my Steelers in the playoffs with Baker. They felt like it was time to part ways to find a better quarterback. At the time, Deshaun Watson was a top 3 quarterback. Him being blackballed and messed up by the Texans, I think that was collusion when they released the tapes and the text messages and the court cases about the sexual misconduct. There's no way that the Texans didn't already know about that. But that's a story for a whole nother day. But Deshaun, that didn't work out. But Andrew Berry swung for the fences. The $230 million guarantee, that was unprecedented. And he made that happen with the same agent, David Mulugeta, that Jerry Jones is trying to avoid with Micah Parsons. So he works well with black agents. And then Deshaun, that doesn't work. He brings in Joe Flacco, and then Joe leaves. But Joe, he does his thing. And then he gets Jameis Winston, another black quarterback. And Jameis Winston actually plays solid. They even beat the Steelers again. But Jameis's biggest issue, which is what it's always been, has always been turnovers. But that's not Shedeur. He takes care of the ball. As we see, no interceptions. Monday Night Football, when the Browns played against the Broncos, Jameis Winston was leading them up the field, and he made a pivotal mistake. He threw a pick. And I think it was a pick 6, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought in that moment, man, if the Browns just get a serviceable quarterback that takes care of the football, they could be a really, really good team. We even saw glimpses of that with Joe Flacco at quarterback, pushing 40. So what can they do now with a young quarterback that's not just serviceable, but could be elite at a very young age? We can now create the same formula, recreate a Brock Purdy where you can build a super team around him because you have so much young talent. And now we can start making trades. We can start signing big free agents like how they did with the Trent Williams. Just keep going, keep going. And we see that with Philly, with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, 2nd round quarterback. So instead of him being a top 5 pick, they had extra money, build a super team around him because it's cheaper. And then when we do pay him, it's okay because we already started winning games. We're already a contender. So I think it's safe to say not even 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would say 2 years from now, that Shedeur and the Browns will be Super Bowl contenders. Because if you still have a young Myles Garrett, that defense has Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Grant Delpit. They just drafted the young kid, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from Michigan at D tackle. So now you have that elite defense on offense. Jerry Jeudy had a career year last year for the Browns. David Njoku at tight end. If they start building up young running backs to replace a Nick Chubb, and if they get 2 to 3 more young receivers after next year's draft, now you're starting to build around Shedeur, and his talent will be limitless. So this is a beautiful thing to see. Tom Brady as his mentor, he's set to win. Tom he's always been working with him since childhood. That Under Armour connection. As you guys know, Coach Prime used to be with Team Under Armour, so Tom Brady is the face of that. But yeah, man, I saw Tom Brady out there. Him in that 12 as well, that's the perfect fit. Tom Brady was a late round draft pick. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. So this is just the beginning. This young brother, just to be so poised out there doing his thing, it just shows us as an inspiration to all of our people. If you just stay in your grind, you stay focused, and you just control what you can control, your time will come. And when your time does come, you'll be prepared. Shedeur even said in the post-game presser, he felt confident because he was so prepared. And that's how we got to be as well. You got to be so prepared for your opportunity that when it comes, nervousness has no room in you. Shedeur, he took advantage of his opportunity. He did his thing. He thrived, man. He thrived. And I already know right now, all the fans, especially the racist fans, they're going to keep moving that goalpost because we see Arch Manning where they're already saying he's going to be the first pick of the draft and all this other foolishness. But how is that not nepotism? Shedeur has started every year in college. Arch hasn't. And for us to already be having him as the preconceived 1st round pick, that's all foolishness. And that shows you their hypocrisy. that Arch Manning, that he comes from the first family in football, from the Mannings, with Eli Payton and Archie Manning. So why don't we have that same reverence for a Shedeur Sanders and his father, Deion Sanders, and Shiloh being in the league? Because they're black. Let's just say what it is. Because they're young, black, successful, and wealthy, and confident. And that's what makes white America tremble to their knees. Because we're not asking for permission, we're taking it. And we're going to smile while we're doing it, and we're going to pose while we're doing it. And that's what makes us flavorful. That's what makes us fly. And that's what even makes their kids want to be us. One of my favorite pictures that I laugh at is this young white kid who but did, dressed up as Allen Iverson at the old Sixers game in the early 2000s. He had the tattoos, the cornrows, everything. Their children even want to be us because they know what cool is and they want to be cool. So Shedeur, I want you to keep being who you are, keep being legendary, keep being special, brother, because they can't stop you because it's already written for your greatness. And he's about to change the overall trajectory of the Cleveland Browns franchise. And there's no better story. They tried to break his spirit and he stays smiling. And now he's about to turn around the worst franchise in NFL history. And by doing so, you can only but give him the credit for that. So shout out to that great young brother, man. The sky's the limit. I appreciate you guys for always tuning in, showing love. It's just the beginning. Nuri Muhammad, we just had that great interview drop last night. So make sure to check that out. We got more fire content coming. We had to give y'all an emergency chilling with Caleb because I watched that game, man, with family. And I was just blown away, brother. His talent, his skill set, his poise, those are things that you can't put a price tag on. And he has the locker room. Once you have the locker room, you can't take that away from him. This brother has it. He has it. He has the smile. He has the talent. He has the poise, and he has the confidence. And that's all that you can ask for from your quarterback. But it's a new day, man. It's a new day. And it's going to be awesome to see him go to war and battle with a Lamar Jackson twice a year, Joe Burrow, the Pittsburgh Steelers right now with Aaron Rodgers, man. The AFC North, it's going to be primetime TV, and now you will have 4 elite quarterbacks. I know it will be a little premature to deem Shedeur as elite, but man, what I'm seeing at such a young age, it's amazing. And shame on the New Orleans Saints and on the Steelers as well, but really the Saints. You passed up on drafting a Shadur Sanders so you can have a Tyler Shuck and a Spencer Rattler. And that right there shows you that white supremacy sometimes, and not sometimes, all the time, they would rather their stuff burn down their way than having a black person save them and do it their way. Because that's what it is. Willfully, they are willfully ignorant and they will willfully fail. But hey, let's expedite that failing process, Shedeur. Make sure that you make them pay every single time. Because imagine if a Shedeur played for the Saints. If Shedeur played for the Saints and he's playing in a dome, throwing quarterback, all of that. And you have a young quarterback coach, Kellen Moore, as the head coach, all of these things. He could turn around your franchise. And they say, nah, we're good. We like Tyler Shuck. They would rather have mediocrity. And we see that in corporate America every single day. They aren't more talented than us. They just have more opportunities. So it's up to us to continuously seize our opportunities and spread the wealth, spread the knowledge to the next black person that's coming up. Because that's how we start to do our own thing at a high level, which is what our people have always done. Let's just expedite that process even more. But thank y'all, man, for always tuning in, showing love. Until next time, let's be your host, Caleb Smith. Another Chillin' with Caleb in the books, y'all. Peace.